What is going on, folks? So, copyrights. Yep. Stranger Things have been struck on this channel. Every single episode for season 5 is down. I'm lucky that it's only season 5, to be honest. It's a fantastic season. It's so far. I have nothing but praise as far as the show goes, but the Netflix behemoth of a company has struck down the hammer and said no more. We don't want this channel posting dope reactions to Stranger Things, doing nothing but hyping the series up, talking about how goated the homie Will is. Netflix don't want us to do that. They said stop that, Lee. So as of right now, the season is only available on our Patreon. I do thank you guys for joining the Patreon and supporting our content. For those who do, I regret it, but there's nothing I can do. This is my livelihood. This is how I sustain my family. This is how I sustain the editors who rely on this. So that is where we are. I do plan on continuing the Stranger Things season, and I do not think I'll be placing any further videos on YouTube because of the copyrights. You know, it's a nice firm warning. It lets you really know. It's like, oh, don't do that. But I will absolutely finish it because the Go to series, I'll just put it on our Patreon account. It's getting harder with reactions and the algorithm because, you know, it is what it is, depending on which channel you are. Other channels are thriving, and that's just that. That's another subject. But it's tough. It's really tough, you know. It's a long episode. These aren't anime episodes, so it was a hefty amount of money for this editor to get this on, and they barely stayed on there for a week, man. But I do encourage you guys to just please subscribe to the Patreon, check it out. Some of you might want to wait until the whole season's finished. Cool. That's how I sustain my family. That's how I sustain my team. That's how I sustain the editors. Everyone relies on the YouTube AdSense revenue and or the Patreon revenue. It is what it is with Netflix. They're a behemoth. They just acquired Warner Brothers, and I was on the fence about that decision, but now it's like, there's one thing doing Peacemaker, and like Netflix is getting strict on their content. So you got Warner Brothers, you got Peacemaker, you got the DC universe, but it's like, if they're getting strict and they also are going to own more, it's like, damn, dog. Nothing's going to be safe in the live action world, hypothetically. And it was like the live action world was a refuge against the anime world because, you know, the Asian studios, because the same thing happens with some Korean content, tend to be very strict. So they're like, all right, we're going back to the West. And it's like, Netflix is taking a swing at things, and it's like, oh, you know, reacting in general is just not safe. I know what we signed up for, so I'm not going to overly complain. Reaction content is what it is, but that's why we have a Patreon. I get it. So sometimes when a series gets hit on YouTube, it's like, man, that sucks. Fortunately, we have a Patreon. So for those that use it, thank you. Happy holidays regardless. There is a free membership plan, I want to reiterate. So if it's, you know, the money is an issue for you, at least you can be updated if we change our mind regarding Stranger Things, and or be the first to know of important changes or when series comes out, or to be able to suggest shows and have those collected when I do polls. I do want to address the elephant in the room because somebody commented to me that make the reactions free on the Patreon, like do that. And I was like, again, this is how we sustain ourselves, right? And making it free offsets that. I know people have their feelings about copyrights, uncut reactions, the whole 9 yards. So my thoughts are, you know, we put out a dope, entertaining thing. You guys vibe with it. You guys love it. You know, at the very least, you know, when it's on YouTube, people consider it's on YouTube for free, which it is. It's free to consume, but at least there's AdSense that you make up for on the back burner. Like, it's free to watch, but for the creator, we get AdSense. And I just make it free on Patreon. There's no AdSense, there's no reimbursement to the editors. And like, when we react to content, it's in the place of a shift that we could have had at work. I do real estate and I do content creation. So like when Stranger Things is coming out and it's like, instead of, you know, showing a house that time period, I was reacting to Stranger Things. I was watching this particular anime. That same logic applies to any one of my peers. Sometimes my wife is like, they're asking me to pick up a shift, and I'm like, oh, but we have Breaking Bad and, you know, a couple animes to record that Friday. And she's like, oh, she's a nurse and she's not pick up a nursing shift. So again, it compensates. Without the revenue, then we would just be doing shifts and we put out less videos. That's the not so sexy, attractive things to talk about. People don't like to talk about the money thing. They just react to it because it's fun to do. And it is fun to do. But I react, so with Director, I react 27 hours a week. Additionally, with my wife, I record another 10 hours, okay? And I do my solo recordings for YouTube channel. That's about 55 hours a week that I am recording, just straight up recording, doing nothing else, just the recording aspect. In order to do 55 hours of recording, I'm not even going to use mine. I'm going to use Director. For Director to come to this house and record for 27 hours a week, he has to have a fair compensation, okay? You talk about you work, you do YouTube videos, you gotta spend time with your girl. In my case, also spend time with my daughter. I mean, there has to be a compensation that just makes this work. And I don't like talking about it because it gets so controversial with fans, because I don't know why. When it comes to money and creators making money, some people get a little weird about it. They just do. I kind of get it, you know? It's when there's money involved, it's like, do this because you like it, not because of the money. And it's like, well, when you find something that you love, you don't have to work. So I love it, but there has to be compensation. That being said, I love real estate too. But if there's no compensation in real estate, I'm not showing the house. I love looking at beautiful houses. I live in a beautiful area, so I love looking at beautiful houses. But at the same time, I got to provide for my family. So I want to love what I do and be able to handle my adult responsibilities while I'm doing that. I hope people can understand that particular logic. So anyways, Stranger Things is on the Patreon channel. Love the show. So anyways, thank you guys. Until the next upload from me, happy holidays, happy new year. Thank you for supporting the channel. Peace.